Hi everybody and welcome to Adobe Live at MAX, the APAC edition, that's Asia Pacific. We're here in Sydney, Australia in the studio. My name is Flynn Tracy and I would like to introduce our amazing guest, Christina Ryan from ILM. Hi Christina, how are you doing?
Hello, thank you so much for having me here today.
Thanks for joining us. This is awesome. So yeah, I said ILM, and I've got it open to be like Industrial Light and Magic. Industrial Light and Magic, and then I'm like, oh my goodness.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah, I know what it is, but I was like tongue-tied. We are here, we are live, as you can tell, because we make mistakes. Well, I do. And if you have any questions as we're going along, there are 3 different chats. So you might be watching on YouTube Live, you might be watching on Behance. Shout out to our Behance viewers, or you might be watching through the Adobe MAX website. Please, if you have any questions as we're going along, throw them in chat. We'll try to get to them. We're here for a very short but very fun time with Christina. Any questions around 3D, being a 3D artist, working for Industrial Light and Magic, whatever it is, go nuts. But we're going to sort of start off by asking Christina Ryan a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Of course. So, yeah, my name's Christina Ryan. I'm a senior texture artist at Industrial Light and Magic here in Sydney, Australia. So, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's really fun to be here. So I've been at ILM and Sydney for about 2 years, really loving it here, originally from Adelaide. So, yeah, I've worked on quite a few different films in my time.
Oh my God, I want to pat this thing. It looks so soft.
So yeah, I've worked on a lot of different films, some of which you'll see in my demo reel that'll just come up. And as well as that, I just love engaging with the community as well. So, you know, I love helping up-and-coming artists really reach their potential because I know how hard it is to get into this industry. And then also just, you know, being able to engage with our peers and sharing new workflows and things like that. So always love doing that.
Awesome. Well, we're so lucky to have you here. This is super great. And so some of this artwork is all yours as well, right?
Yeah. So this one's a personal project of mine. For those of you who've seen Princess Mononoke, that would have been, you know, one of my inspirations to be able to get into this industry. I watched it over and over again as a kid. Yeah. So decided to make something outside of work as well.
Awesome. That's so cool. How much time do you spend, I'm getting into Q&A time, but I can't help it. How much time do you spend like personal projects? Like.
Oh, look, I feel like I used to do a lot more.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
But, you know, when I first made it into the industry, I was always, you know, at home doing them all the time. These days, I will still do a little project here and there. I pick them up just to help keep my skills up and, like, keep my skills going.
Yeah.
But I also love to be able to, you know, pull out my iPad and maybe do some drawing as well, do something a bit different to the 3D. So I tend to just switch it up depending on how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, it's so cool. Yeah, I'm also recognizing like Tomb Raider, Batman, I think, as well.
Yeah. So this one was probably one of the highlights of my career, actually. Yeah. It was one of the first movies I worked on when I moved to ILM, and cool. I'll still remember when, you know, my lead at the time said to me, sorry, how do you feel about doing Batman? Are you up for it? And I just remember like trying to be professional and be like, yep, no, not a problem. I'm like, not a problem at all. Yep, I'd love to do that. And then like just going away and like squealing with excitement. So I was so excited.
Wow.
But yeah, no, definitely a highlight.
Oh, so cool. Do you ever get like a bit nervous and everything working on like these franchises like that?
Yeah. I think anytime, especially if I haven't done it before or if it's, you know, because, you know, as a texture artist, we will do so many different things. If I haven't done something like that before, 100% I'll still get a bit nervous because, you know, we have to do things in a certain amount of time. But I find that as the years go on, I sort of realise, okay, it's all right if you haven't done something like this before. You've got the skills to be able to build it up and get there. So, but yeah, definitely still feel a bit nervous.
Yeah. Oh, that's completely understandable because Chad and I have definitely been like fanboying over some of the content and things you get to work on. So I'll try to keep professional. But we have a show reel. So I think what will be great is we'll cut to the show reel and then we'll jump back, ask a couple of questions about that. And by the way, guys, get your questions in chat if you have them as we're going through, and enjoy this reel.
we're out the door. Leave your message here on the telephone, 'cause we've no idea when we're coming home. Any place we wander to, any season we go through, I'll be fine as long as I'm with you. Heaven knows, running round the world with you. When you smile, I smile too. How I ever made it without you. Heaven knows, heaven knows. I feel the weather changing, better get out soon. Don't let go of my hand, no matter what you do. Well, I'm here for you, through the thick and thin. We're on a winding road that never ends. I'll be fine as long as I'm with you. Heaven knows, heaven knows.
So that was awesome.
Thank you.
So many things I want to kind of talk about in that, but I'm gonna, I don't know, the Batman or, okay, Thor Ragnarok. Okay, so in that scene in Thor Ragnarok, what was your involvement there? That's something I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Chad and I were talking. We're like, well, I wonder what Christina did in this scene.
Yeah, so Thor Ragnarok was actually the first movie I ever worked on in the industry.
Oh, cool.
It was back in Adelaide, and I just remember on my first day walking into the building and then just seeing like the coolest things on my screen, and I was just like, whoa. So in terms of like my involvement, because I was junior at the time, so a lot of the stuff I did was involved in the palace, all of the background stuff.
Yeah.
So
I knew it. I was right.
So I developed, I helped develop the gold material that you see amongst all of the palace.
Yeah.
I actually used Substance Painter for that, so
Oh, cool.
I developed that gold
Shout
material. And then I sort of, we created that, and then what happened is, because we just had so much stuff to cover, we would then hand out that material to our team, and then they were able to then achieve that consistent look across the entire palace. So it was very much a team effort. We all sort of worked on that to be able to get that across the line. But the entire environment is CG. So yeah, everything in there. And I also worked on the throne as well. I think that was my favourite asset. Yeah, that one was also poured into Substance Painter and textured, which was super fun.
That's so awesome. Because you got to get it so right. It's like there's so much lore involved with like the comic books and things like that. So like, did you use the comic? This is turning into an interview. Did you use the comic books as reference, or did they apply? This is on me. I just realised I can talk about Marvel comics for a second. Do they give you reference? Like, we want it to really be like this.
Yeah, 100%. So for anything we work on, most of the time we actually have something built on set. It's really common. So for example, with Thor, we actually had a throne built in real life.
Tell me it's in your house. Like
no, it's just my
Who
lounge chair.
Who gets to take the throne home?
No, so it's not at work. Unfortunately, we just get pictures of it.
Okay.
But they all build it. But unfortunately, we needed to be able to make it look like real gold, and that's not something that they can do in real life. So they'll create like a painted version of it, and it will look marvelous. But then we will just have that as reference to then recreate that in 3D.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Oh, that's awesome. I've got heaps more questions, but you have a demo prepared for us today.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll just jump in. Maybe we'll jump across to that. By the way, guys, get your questions in.
Yeah, 100%. So what I wanted to show today, so the Substance package, there's been so many cool new updates this year. We've all been really excited about them. But I think my favourite new tool that's been released this year, and I think it's a crowd favourite as well, is the Path tool. All of us are really excited about it. A lot of us have used it in Photoshop before, and it just gives this level of flexibility in our work that we haven't been able to have before. So what I decided to do, so this robot here, I'll just go ahead and play it for you. Essentially, this was a personal project of mine. And if you have a look at the panel lines on this robot, in the past I actually had to go ahead and hand paint them all. So essentially what it means is literally just going in there with a paintbrush and painting them. And, for something that's machined and perfect like that, it just takes a really long time to be able to get that, perfect. And even then, I still wasn't even able to achieve. I probably would have done a lot more. So this is the Asset and Substance Painter. So this is where I left it off before I rendered it.
I love that the robot has a T-pose and it's got these little hands.
I know,
That's
it's
so
cute. So the reason its antennas and stuff are all straight out is because they do get rigged for animation.
Right.
But this is sort of like a traditional pose that we model everything in. And I had so much fun designing this one.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Is this based on anything? Sorry to interrupt. Is it based
No,
on anything?
not at all. It's just, I sort of just played around with different forms and shapes and things like that. And then I just sort of went to town with it. I'm just showing here, for example, some of the materials I made in Substance Designer.
Yeah.
And then I brought them into Painter.
Wow.
The others are just made from scratch in Painter. So what I'm showing here is just those panel lines that I've gone ahead and hand painted these ones in. And I guess... So what's here is, this is the mask that's used to bring in those panel lines. And as I was saying before, they can be a little bit imperfect. Just like with anything, if you're going to hand paint something, you can never get a perfectly straight line. Some would say that, it's artistic to be able to have some imperfections in your work, and that's true. But is it imperfection because it's artistic or because you've just given up and you've done it 5 times?
Right. And as you said, this is geometric, right? This is meant to be a robot. So it would be symmetrical. It would be perfect, right?
Yeah, that's it. So what I'm showing here is just the fact that, if I wanted to keep adding to these lines, I do have to manually go in there and hand paint them. If I decide that I don't like the shape of that line, I just have to erase it and start again. You could maybe export out the mask and do it in Photoshop that way and bring it back in. But what I decided to do was just to give this another crack using the pen tool. So what I'm doing is I just duplicated that layer, made a new one, and I'm just going to use the bottom one as a means to trace what I'm doing, so I know what I'm doing. And just like you would in Photoshop, you just drop these little points and you just follow the path and follow the direction that you want. So what I'm doing here is I'm just changing the size of that brush, and you can do that on the fly. And this was so easy and intuitive to use. Honestly, I didn't really need to look up any tutorials or anything. I just gave it a go. So I would encourage anyone to give this one a crack. And, if you just double click on a dot, you can also sharpen up those points as well. So super fun. Cool. And all I'm doing is I'm just actually going through and then generating a path for every single panel line. So you've got complete control over them. I'm just doing one side of the model because you'll see later that we can just move that across.
That's amazing because that was my next question. Surely there's some sort of symmetry duplication that can happen here.
Yeah. So normally I would actually work with symmetry switched on at the start rather than switching it on after. But it just goes to show that you can do it once and then, duplicate it afterwards. So I'm just going through and I'm just doing all those panel lines and cutting them all in. Super easy.
That's cool. I mean, it's just like the pen tool in Photoshop or Illustrator.
Mm-hmm.
So this is from a manual perspective. If you know how to do that, you know how to do this.
Yeah, it's honestly exactly the same. And you can define the parameters of that brush as well on the fly. So you don't have to decide what you want that brush to look like before you do it. It does it. You can add it later. So you're just defining that path, and just like you would in Photoshop, you end up with these little path lines, which you can do anything with them afterwards. So what I've just now done is I've turned on symmetry, so you can see it's now moved across to the other side. And here's what the magic is. If I decide I want a thicker line, I can just come and change it at any time.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So cool. So it just gives you so much more flexibility to be able to do anything you like. And you can, change the opacity, change all of these things.
Wow.
And then you can just come in and move it. Again, at any point in time. You can just decide, I don't really like that, or I just want to move it. That's just a little bit. What I then decided to do was just give the rivet painting a go. So again, in the past, I just hand painted all of those dots. And again, if you've got a huge spaceship or something, for example, some people might have brushes to be able to paint them in, but there's just nothing that offers the level of flexibility that you have with this tool here. So what I'm doing now is I just deleted what I had before, and I'm just going back in and just drawing a path around the panel where I want those to go. And you'll see here that it's really easy to turn this path into rivets. All you would do is just increase the spacing between the brush, and you end up with dots.
That's
super cool.
So cool. I can't believe how real time it is.
Yeah, exactly. So this is, all real time. Absolutely fantastic the way it works. I could just come in here and move them.
Just play around.
This honestly was me just experimenting and just seeing what it could do. So I would love to next be able to use this on, say, a big spaceship or, any sort of aircraft or anything like that. I would 100% come in here and use this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
So no, that's it for the demo of that path tool. So if anyone has any questions, throw them through.
That's awesome. So I've got a question. I'm going to steal this laptop back if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Because my questions are on here. But how long does something like that take? That's like kind of the inevitable creative question that we often get for processes. And I know that the answer is,
a long time.
how long's the biggest the string, right? But just to give us a general kind of, view, how long would something like that as a personal project take?
It's hard to say because I was doing it outside of work hours.
Totally.
So it could be quite a few months to be able to get something from start to finish. And the other thing is, because my specialty is in texture, I'm not specialised in the other areas of the pipeline. So with personal projects, unless you are able to tee up with another artist, you have to do everything yourself. So, for example, modelling, I modelled a guy as well, but I'm a bit slower at modelling. I find I'm too, much of a perfectionist for it, so it just takes me so long to make it perfect. But, I honestly, a lot of hours.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I was just going to jump to the next question. I'm excited because I got my questions down there. But we sort of covered some of the sort of projects in your highlight reel, but and obviously only what you can talk about. But was there any particular career highlights that you worked on? Was it the Batman? Was that a big one, or what makes a good project or a memorable experience in your field?
Well, I think for me, there's definitely the excitement of, working on a really cool character or something like that. I think when I got to work on the Batman, that was really definitely a career highlight in terms of experience because I'd never done anything like that before.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think my most memorable moments in my career have more so been around perhaps my team or about a really positive experience. So perhaps even if it's a really small show, perhaps we've got this power team and we just know how to work with each other and we just keep bouncing ideas off each other. An environment like that is definitely when I have the most memorable experiences because it's just so much fun, and usually on a project for anywhere between you could be on it for 6 months and you can be on it for 2 years. It really depends.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that's what makes the experience memorable. Other than
really
that,
sweet, actually.
Yeah, I think, but even
it's the friends we make along the way.
It totally is though, because even if you have an amazing work to do, it's just so important to be able to have a really positive and great experience in your workplace as well. And I've always been really fortunate with that, but I think the special memories are the ones where we've had a real power team and really got on. And then other really fun, more memorable moments is when I would say I've been given maybe a new responsibility or something like that. So with the boys, we saw that one in my demo reel. I really particularly remember that one because that was my first role as a lead. And it was the first time they were like, all right, here's this show. We trust you to do what you need to do to be able to deliver this show.
Yeah.
And I just remember that being such a great experience, and I had some great artists working with me as well. So it was fun.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that. And so I guess what would be some advice that you could give to folks out there? So this is like a general creative conference. We've got people from all sorts of backgrounds. Here we go. We've got a question that's actually similar to my question. So Beth, thank you for throwing this in. Can Christina talk about how she found her way into the field? Yeah. What did she do when she was younger? Draw a lot, paint? Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Beth, for the question. It's a really good one. So I think the most important thing to realise is that no single person's journey is the same into the industry. So everyone has their own story to tell. My personal story was that, I grew up in Adelaide. I was actually studying to become a vet at the time. And so I wanted to be a vet. I just assumed there was no money or no jobs in art. So I went down that path. And then for me, I just wasn't really passionate about it. And I actually started out, if you know DeviantArt back in the day, that's what I used to go on. And I used to just be on that website all the time. I took a year off of study and I just went on there and I sold art.
Oh, wow.
And mind you, I was selling them for like $5.
Yeah.
But I just like, for me, it was like the first time I went, oh, wait, people actually would pay like for my artwork. And I went, maybe I could make a career out of this.
You did really well if you were selling stuff on DeviantArt, because I spent a lot of time in there and I didn't make a cent.
Oh my goodness. I think I made points. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I used to just draw a lot of little cartoon characters. I loved it. And for me, I went, you know what? I'm not enjoying doing what I'm doing. I love animation. A big inspirational film for me was How to Train Your Dragon, actually. That was one of my favourites.
Yeah.
So I left uni, I quit university, and I joined the AIE. So the AIE was actually, it was the first year they opened in Adelaide, and I decided to do that. So it was a 2-year course, and then I found my first job about a year and a half in. So I think for me, advice I could give to anyone looking to get into this industry is, first of all, do your research. So, like, have a look at all the different types of jobs that you might be able to get in this industry. There's so much information out there nowadays, a lot more than what was available when I was looking. Research all the different industries and all the different types of jobs that are in those different industries and find something that really sparks an interest. For me, like, I did really enjoy painting and texturing, so I did a lot of Photoshop drawing back in the day. I also really loved anatomy, so obviously coming from a vet background, so I actually really liked animation and things like that as well. So once you've found what you want to do, find a good school that specialises in that area. It's, you know, if you're going to go to a school that specialises in lighting and compositing, for example, you're not going to come out of that school with enough to be able to get into texture. Same as games versus film. Whilst a lot of the skills are easily transferable, if you want to be a game artist, go to a school that specialises in 3D for games. It will just really help you build the knowledge that you need to know in a more concise way. And it will just get you out there networking with the right kind of people. And networking is really important, so reaching out to people in the industry, coming to events like this. I just did a lot of networking. And lastly, don't be discouraged. All of the artwork that you see online, those people have probably been doing it, 3, 5, 10 years more than you.
Right.
The skill can be learnt. You don't have to be the best of the best artist or the best drawer. You don't have to have had years of illustration behind your belt. A lot of the tools are really fun to be able to pick up, even without those that background. So don't give up, keep going, and just know that it takes quite a few years to hone the skill. And we've all been there. We've all spent those few years. So yeah, good luck.
Damn, that was like the best advice. I'm just sitting here going, yeah.
Sorry, it's a bit long-winded.
No, that's fantastic. You've obviously been asked that before because your answers were like, it's this. By the way, this is my experience. Yeah. Perfect. We only have 2 minutes. We only have 2 minutes left.
Fast.
I know. I did warn you that it would go fast. Okay, day in the life. We'll finish off with day in the life. What's a typical kind of day in the life for you?
Okay, so I might as well, I've got a video to be able to explain what a texture artist does. So essentially, a texture artist will create something like this. The role of a texture artist is to create and apply and develop materials. And those materials will go onto a model to make it look and feel realistic. So we'll start with like a model like this one.
Yeah.
So in my industry, I will get the model given to me. But in other industries, you might find that they you might do it yourself. And then we'll paint a series of texture maps. So typically, a day in the life, I'll be painting. So I might paint a map like a color map, and then I'll have to also go in and paint some other maps as well to define how that material's going to work in real life. So it's quite technical as well as quite creative.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so I mean, as well as doing art, because I'm doing more leadership duties now, I would be in a lot of meetings. I'll be helping them plan production and things like that. Also being there to help my team and answer any questions they have as well. So yeah,
that's awesome. I think that's our the lights come on. That was perfect. No, that was amazing. Thank you everybody for watching, and thank you so much, Christina. This has been great. We're gonna have to get you back on Adobe Live again so we can spend some more time with you.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you guys for watching. I've had a lot of fun.
Great. Hope everyone has a great Max, and stay tuned. We'll be back in 5 minutes with Chris Hansen. We're going to be talking about all things video. See you later.